Stores in English. The slow road to success. Mark was a very successful man. He was the director of a large company in the city. Every day, Mark followed the same routine. He woke up at 5 a.m., drank expensive coffee, and drove his luxury car to work. He was always looking at his phone, checking emails and profits. To Mark, people were like numbers. He didn't have time for small talk. And he certainly didn't have time for feelings. He believed that money was the only way to measure success. One Tuesday morning, Mark's car wouldn't start. He was furious. He had a very important meeting at 9 a.m. He couldn't wait for a taxi. So he decided to do something he hadn't done in 20 years. He took the public bus. The bus was crowded, loud, and smelled like wet umbrellas. Mark sat in the only empty seat at the back, next to an old woman wearing a faded yellow coat. He immediately pulled out his phone, looking frustrated. Suddenly the bus hit a bump. Mark's phone fell to the floor. Before he could reach it, the old woman picked it up and handed it to him with a kind smile. The world moves very fast through that little screen, doesn't it? She said softly. Mark grunted. Time is money. I'm losing both right now. The woman laughed gently. You know, I used to think that too. My husband worked until the day he died. He saved all his money for one day. But one day never came. Now I have the money. But I don't have him to share the sunset with. Mark felt uncomfortable. He wanted to ignore her, but for some reason, he didn't. He looked out the window. He saw a young father playing with his daughter at a bus stop. He saw an old man feeding birds. He realized he hadn't looked at the city or people in years. Where are you going? Mark asked, surprised by his own curiosity. To the hospital, she replied. I volunteer to read stories to children who are lonely. They don't care about my money or my old coat. They just care that I am there. When Mark finally reached his office, he was 30 minutes late for his meeting. His assistants were nervous. The investors were angry. Mark walked into the boardroom, but he didn't apologize for the money lost. He looked at the investors and said, Before we start, I want to ask you a question. When was the last time any of you sat in a park and did nothing? When was the last time you listened to someone without looking at your watch? The room was silent. Mark did the meeting, but something had shifted inside him. That evening, instead of staying late at the office, he left at 5 p.m. He didn't take his car. He took the bus. He sat in the same back seat, hoping to see the woman in the yellow coat. She wasn't there, but there was a young man sitting there, looking stressed and staring at his phone. Mark smiled and said, "The world moves very fast through that little screen, doesn't it?"